Oh, hi. I'm Heather, and I find this to be quite therapeutic, truly. So, I'm back again. Last week, I talked about how I came out, and I came out later in life, and I was married to a man, all that fun stuff. And I think in that video, I mentioned like one of the only signs that I can think of that I was gay was like the way that I dressed growing up. And since then, I've sat with that and thought about looking back, like what were some other signs maybe that I was queer? Like obviously in real time, I wasn't picking up on it, but now looking back, thinking that could have been a sign. So today I'm going to talk about the signs that I was gay because I was not someone who was fortunate to just have this knowledge in my brain and just know that I was queer at a young age. I didn't know, didn't clock that about myself. Sounds like some other people maybe did, but I didn't clock it. So I'm going to talk about the things now that I'm like, yeah, that was maybe a sign. For anyone, I don't know, like me, maybe you stumbled across this video. Maybe like me, you are not out, you're in a straight relationship. You find yourself watching gay people online and you don't know why. Honestly, wait a second. I've got my notes over here. I actually need to add that. Watching gay people online. Like that was normal. So good. The smell of matches, bro. Anyways, back to it. Signs that I was gay. The way I dressed, okay? Like, I have definitely honed in on my style current day, but even whenever I was in like middle school, high school, catch me in athletic wear. I grew up playing basketball. Basketball was big for me. And then I also played tennis and ran cross country in high school, but like basketball was my sport. Basketball was my sport. Oh, that was a fucking hairball. Was keyword. Anyways, I played sports and I just dressed tomboy as fuck. Like, I don't know. I just like, it's not even necessarily about dressing tomboy or dressing like a little bit more masculine. It's just that I also combined with that, I felt so uncomfortable in dresses. Like, I literally felt like I was wearing a costume when I would wear dresses. Like, I just felt, and I even, like, now, even when I put them on, it's like when I look at other, like, women or, like, femme presenting people and I see them in dresses, it's just like, oh, that's so cute and, like, fitting. And then I see myself in a dress and I'm like, yeah, that just, like, looks weird on you. I don't know. That's just, like, how I've always felt. I played that game when I was younger where, you have a vagina, so you wear dresses, was just, like, kind of a thing. But I never felt comfy at all. Also, what I'm going to do when I get done filming this is go through some old photos and I am going to try to pull photos that really just depict what I'm talking about. And you know what? Future me has already pulled those. So those pictures are probably right here and you're seeing them as I'm talking about this. Maybe I'll just cycle through them just to really hone in on the idea that I was a tomboy from a young age. I just did not like dresses. It just feels uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't feel like those were made for me. And the beauty is you don't have to wear dresses just because you have a vagina. I literally can remember vividly, and I know that this photo exists, and I know that I will find it, and I will put it on the screen right now if I haven't already. And that is that literally in first grade, I wore my basketball jersey to school, like my Parks, like rec league basketball jersey. Not just the jersey, not just the top, the shorts too, down to the socks and the basketball shoes. My parents let me leave the house with my full jersey. And there's a photo to document it. So, first grade. But yeah, so I just like didn't really dress standard for a like girl growing up, I feel. I much preferred being in, I mean, I don't know if a sweater is a good example, but like much preferred being in more boy clothes. Not that I think clothes have gender, because I think that's the silliest fucking thing ever. But just like thinking back to things that I would wear, like I had a belt that was like a seat belt buckle. And I know those were like a thing, but like I don't know that a lot of straight people were wearing those. Just like little things like that. I've always loved hats, so like beanies, like I think trucker hats were something that I really liked. You'll probably find a lot of pictures with me in trucker hats, wearing them backwards. I don't even do that now, which is really funny. The older I've gotten, the more that I've like had more fun with stuff, and not that I've ever dressed like, whoa, like that's a crazy outfit, but just not what like, I don't know, does that make sense? I feel like I'm like spending a lot of time on this, but like what I wore, big sign that I was gay. And not just that I was tomboy about things, but like that I felt like uncomfy. And that's just my personal opinion too. You can dress however you want, by the way. Even if you happen to be a straight person watching this, dress however the fuck you want. Like, who cares? It shouldn't be a sign. It is a sign, but it shouldn't be. You should be able to dress however you want. Okay, this one is really interesting to me. And I'm curious if anybody else has experienced this that is out. And that is just that the people that I was drawn to in life, and they weren't out at the time, but like turned out to be gay also. Like one of my friends, Caitlin, that I got close to in high school, turned out to be gay, and she wasn't out either. One of my friends, Lou, same thing. A lot of the people that I was close to on my basketball team, turns out gay or queer in some way. And just, yeah, like people that I found myself like intrigued with, even thinking back, and it's just like, that's so interesting. Was there something going on where none of us knew? I just kind of wonder if there was something inside of me that was like drawn to these queer people in life. And it just was like this weird intuitive thing that I didn't even realize was happening. But that one I find interesting, that a lot of the people that I was connected with, especially like maybe high school age, I don't know, like even like somebody that I was friends with in elementary school, there's like a photo of us and like we were friends like at a young age. Like we didn't like carry on to be friends because we went to different schools, but like since like ran into each other at the Lipstick Lounge and like gay. It's just interesting. I don't know. That one, there's not a whole lot to go into detail on that one. I just think it's interesting that when I look back, it's like, whoa, there was like a lot of people in my life that I was connected with, and we all ended up being gay. So that's kind of fun. In that realm, oh, Hirsch, look at him. He loves the crack. Like, he loves the crack. You know what they say about crack, Hirsch? Lay up in it. In the same realm as like being drawn to people, the characters in movies and shows that I was drawn to. Examples. Stick It. The main character in Stick It, I think her character's name was Haley. It's not that, and let me also preface this to say, it's not even that I was attracted to these people. It's just this weird pull towards them. It's this weird like draw. Like you just find yourself like locking in more on those people. And I don't even think her character was gay. At least it was not explicitly said. I think that was just an assumption, and a correct assumption. But just like being drawn to characters that are like just giving gay energy. I don't know. Another example, the Blue Crush babes. Wasn't necessarily attracted to them, I don't think. But that's where current day me is like, was I attracted to them? Like, obviously now I can be like, yeah, that, like, she's hot or whatever. I don't know if past me was like attracted to them. I don't think so. I don't think I necessarily had a crush, but I was just like drawn to them. Like, are we? Another example, Reggie Rocket. That is a lesbian. And that's another one where I'm like, I obviously wasn't crushing on Reggie Rocket, but like, did I want to be Reggie Rocket? Yeah. Who didn't? But like, I'm trying to think of some other characters. Those were like the first three that I could think of. Just this weird draw towards characters that give gay energy. I don't know what else to say. Because I can't think of more characters, I think that you should go comment down in the comments characters that you were drawn to that just gave off that gay energy. This, I mentioned this early, but I just added this to my list as a sixth thing. Watching gay people online and thinking that was normal. That's not something I did until after graduating college, I don't think. I would say at the earliest it would have been like my senior year in college, but I'm pretty sure I had graduated. If you're watching a bunch of gay people online, if you find yourself drawn to gay people online, babes, you're gay. I feel so silly that I just like didn't consider that. Like, how silly of me to not even have that thought to myself of, why am I watching lesbians? You know, to not even have that thought. And maybe at that point, it's kind of like one of those things where you just know, but you don't want to acknowledge it, because I was in a relationship with a man, and like in a happy relationship with a man at that, so that complicates it even more. So yeah, I would just say if you're really drawn to gay people online, then you are probably gay. And I'm not saying if you've seen one gay person you're like, oh, they're hot. That's different. I don't know, if you just like find yourself intrigued or interested, babes, you might be gay. Welcome. Okay, another one that was kind of big for me and actually became like sort of a discussion with my ex-husband. It just always felt like there was something missing in the relationship, and actually always is unfair. As I matured and like got older and like started connecting the dots, it started feeling like there was something missing in my relationship. The relationship, not that it was a bad one, didn't look like I wanted it to. If you just feel like there's just like something missing there, like that, I don't know, that could be a sign, especially whether it's like sexually. I feel like this in depth, what I'm about to say, is a topic for another video. Okay? And I'm also going to say, if you are one of my parental figures and you're watching this, just know I'm about to mention orgasming. So, sexually speaking, if you're in a relationship that is just like not quite getting you there, aka you're not quite reaching the climax of things, you know what I'm saying? That could be a sign. Now, I'm going to save more for when I do another video about this, because I do want to talk about it, because I find it to be interesting. Not embarrassing, just interesting. In my defense, me and my ex-husband met, I was 18. We were super young. And we were like each other's firsts. And not because we were waiting for marriage, okay? Don't get it twisted. Maybe I was planning to do that in like high school, but that didn't last very long, okay? We just met super young. And so he was the first person I had sex with. Did I expect to marry the man? Not really. I knew I really liked the guy. So that's just how it worked out for me. So I will say, honestly, in both of our defenses, we didn't know what we didn't know. And yeah, I just think that if you feel like you're not reaching up here, I think it's very possible. It could be a sexual compatibility thing, sure, with the partner that you're with. If you find that to be a repetitive pattern where you're just not quite getting off, if you are a woman, you should try sleeping with a woman, okay? Honestly, I just wish that everyone would sleep with someone of the same gender. I just wish that everyone would experience it and just like allow themselves to go there. Because, yeah, for some people, they might just be like, that's not for me. But other people, you could learn some things about yourself. That's all I'm getting at, you know? I just wish people would just be like, who the fuck cares? Because let me tell you. I don't need to tell you. You'll figure it out. Now that we've discussed the fact that I did not orgasm in my marriage, there could be other things missing, okay? There could be like a level of connection that you're looking for that you're not getting. Yeah, like a level of depth. And I don't know. I just, the relationship I'm in now, like, it's like the relationship that I always craved, where you're like borderline obsessed with each other. You see people online portraying relationships in a way, and you're like, it's really easy to like hype things up a bit and pretend like everything is like peachy all the time. And I'm not saying that everything's peachy all the time, but I am saying that everything's peachy most all of the time. And that's because we like actually want to be around each other all the time, and we actually like really admire each other and like love talking to each other. Like we're years into this, and like we still just like cannot stop talking. We just like can't shut the fuck up. Go to bed way too late, like damn near every night, because we just like want to talk. And I'm not saying that everybody wants a relationship like that, or everyone should want a relationship like that, where you're just like constantly gabbing with each other. Most people online that are like couples content are absolutely hyping up everything. But that doesn't mean that there aren't like really good, really solid relationships out there. And if you're in a relationship that feels not how you want it to feel, and especially if it's easier for me to speak from the perspective of like women, lesbians, whatever. Like if you find that all of your, because there is such thing as like incompatibility with a man and still being straight. But if you find that over and over, like you're not connecting with men, or like whether it's sexually, like whatever, I'm just saying give women a try. Especially if you haven't considered it, because it's pretty good. It's pretty good. For me, whenever I was trying to explain it to my ex-husband, the way I explained it was telling him that I didn't know how to explain it. I was just like, there was a song. What is his name? Lauv? Wait, and he turned out to be gay! Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm obsessed with that, actually. In the last like portion of our relationship where we were like pretty disconnected, I can remember sitting down with him at one point and just saying, I don't know how to explain it. There's a lyric of a song that I love, and in it it says, when there's nothing quite wrong, but it don't feel right. Which is funny to just say his words and not sing. But like that's like the only way I could describe it. Like it's not that there's something like majorly wrong. It just doesn't feel like, I don't know, just doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. If you find yourself just kind of like, I don't know about this, I think you should consider that you might be gay. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love being gay. I can't even count how many times like my girlfriend has done something like cute or sweet or like just so funny, and I've just thought in my head, oh my god, this is exactly what, or it's not even, this is that little like missing thing. This dynamic that we have was what I didn't have, but what I was craving, and it was that missing thing. It was the thing that like wasn't right. What I'm asking, ladies and gents and everyone else, is to pick that bar up off the floor, okay? Take that bar that's on the floor at your feet, just like pick it up and just lift it higher. Slowly if you have to. It's not bad to like have standards for your relationship and what you want your relationship to look like. Wow, that was like went off on a really crazy tangent. I feel clearly I'm a little passionate about that. I just want everyone to have a really fulfilling relationship. you know? That's what I want for literally everyone, because I'm in a fulfilling relationship now. I know what it feels like, and I'm just like, I hope everyone has this. Now, I would be lying if I didn't say, or if me and my girlfriend didn't say all the time, like, man, I feel bad for everybody else. They don't got this. And they do. Like, people do. But it feels like what we have is just, like, so good. So, and I just want that for everyone. Like, I want everyone to, like, feel that way. To feel like their relationship is, like, so fucking good that they want other people to have their relationship. That's actually a really interesting thought. Ask yourself, would you want other people to have your relationship? That's good. That's really good. Yes, I would. I absolutely would. If y'all could have my relationship, y'all would be in for a treat, bitch. The last thing that I find to be pretty interesting is, and it's kind of a two-parter, I feel like my friends were like very boy crazy at that age. And not that I wasn't like interested in boys, but I feel like I wasn't like boy crazy. I don't feel like I remember being like overly boy crazy. Crushes, sure. And then from that, as I got older and like into high school, and I had boyfriends, but I dated a guy like very briefly, like 6 months, if even, I don't even remember. And he was Christian, okay? I was Christian too at the time, not anymore. But he just was not interested in sexual stuff. And I just like didn't care. I just like was not interested in sexual stuff. Like, I didn't care that, like, I hadn't, like, had sex with any of my boyfriends. I didn't care that I had only, like, made out with, like, I hadn't done anything more than making out with a guy until, like, after I had graduated high school. Like, I think finger stuff came into play, like, the summer after I graduated. And that was from someone I was not even interested in. And I was not interested in, oh, this is actually interesting, too. If you find yourself not interested in like returning the favor. I had sex before I put it in my mouth. I was not trying to do that. And like I wasn't like registering it at the time, but like I was like, I don't want to do that. Okay? Literally had sex before I gave a BJ. And also, this is all just like a me thing. I'm just sharing things that I found to be interesting about my life before I came out, that I, like, now looking back in, to me feel like, yeah, maybe there was something more to that. Maybe there was like a reason for that. Maybe it's because you were gay all along and you just didn't quite realize it. But yeah, I just think if you find yourself not that interested in guys, like dating guys or having sex with guys or touching their body parts, it doesn't necessarily 100% mean that you're gay, but that could be one of the reasons why. At least it was for me, I think, when I look back. What the fuck do I know about all this except for the fact that I figured out that I was gay and had to get a divorce, but now I'm in a wonderfully happy relationship with my lesbian lover. And that's forever. So, thanks for listening, if you made it this far. One thing about me is I will talk for a while. And this is, like, so therapeutic for me. I love this. Like, a lot. So, just throwing my experiences out there for people who are looking to relate. I feel like that's all we're all trying to do, especially on these platforms. And that's just, like, find people we relate to, find people that entertain us. Either way, I am a queer person living in Nashville. If you're a queer person living in Nashville and looking for community, don't hesitate to reach out, because I always am. One thing about me, I am not a no new friends kind of gal. I want to be friends with pretty much everyone, unless you suck. If you resonated with any of these, welcome. I'm just kidding. Just because you resonate with one or all of these doesn't mean you're gay. You're probably gay, but it doesn't mean you're gay. If you weren't someone who just like knew from a young age that you were gay, what were some of the things that you look back on and think like, wow, that was super gay of me? Those are all the ones that I could think of as of now. So, all right. See you in the next one. I'm sure there'll be a next one. There'll be a next one, for sure. This was fun.